All right, welcome back to another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. I'm Chris Driscoll. As per usual, joining me is my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
It's always a pleasure. It's nice to be back in our home base after a great episode last week with the Clem Report. Shout out him. Might have been my favorite episode of all time. Talked the Mets and with a creator like Clem, great guy. So it was a great time.
Yeah, we've been following Clem for a very long time now. I want to say, I don't even know how long. Like it's been
Years.
like it's been like I definitely remember talking about him like back when I was in like high school at least. So like yeah, it's definitely like at least 7 or 8 years. So very very cool guest. It's actually the first time that I'm back in the house doing the pod in the past 2 weeks because I was at Louis' house the week before. So yeah, very happy to be back in my home base, even though I did have to move around some stuff because I was, as the week goes on, I usually just throw a bunch of crap on the on my desk, and then I was like, oh, but I actually have to do a podcast on here in an hour. So not knowing this, but yeah, there is a bunch of crap behind me that you can't see. But I will say, however, the one I love this theme song, the one that we have now, and I fully stand by the fact that it's my favorite one. However, the one thing is like usually when I click go live, it has like it would used to have like that 20 seconds downtime saying like, okay, now we're ready to go. Now it's only 8 seconds. So like while it's better for the show, like it is a little more click go live. Okay, now we're ready to go. So that's the only bad thing. But today's episode 90. But that's a big number. Did you look up any 90s before this? Because I did yesterday, but I completely forgot about them.
Jason Pierre-Paul was 90.
Okay.
So giant player. Any basketball players that were 90?
Yes, there is. Amir Johnson, 2016, 2017 for the Celtics. He was the starting power forward. Yeah, he started over Kelly Olynyk for God knows why, but I'm assuming it's because of bench reasons. But and Drew Gooden, I think he was one of LeBron's better teammates in like his early Cleveland days, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be dead wrong there. Could be just the nostalgia speaking for or one of the only 2K names that I remember back when I played with like that LeBron team or played against never played with LeBron. That was always didn't really root for LeBron back then or even now, but excuse there. But yeah, 90. Wow, it's only 10 more episodes. Which speaking of which, like I don't know if you saw the tweet that I said you pick a side. Uploaded their 500th episode yesterday. That's a lot, and they've only been around for like about a year or two longer than us. So yeah, props to them for always going at it. But like, and the consistency, because I'm pretty sure that their main guy Joel Moran was on for like 497 of those episodes. So yeah, he doesn't miss a beat. But yeah, like not the other guys are on very often as well. But yeah, definitely Joel Moran. He's only missed 3 episodes out of the 500. That's very very impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do they go live or they record what 3 times a week, twice a week?
It's at least 2 days. It's at least on 2 times a week, and some days 3. Like, and I'm assuming they do probably something like during football season, like probably like Sunday nights, and then like another 2 days like after that to talk about other things. But yeah, very very impressive pod, and especially it's not like they just go for an hour. Like they usually go for a couple hours too. So
Yeah,
do homework for sure.
yeah.
And before we move on, there is one thing I messed up. I forgot to change the H logo in the top right, and let's change that banner real quick. There we go. Cool.
Sweet.
So, all right. So, yeah, as we mentioned, back in Jersey. We were in Jersey actually, but yeah, back down the shore. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, we also got a great show ahead of us. So, to start off, Matt, this is So second time in 3 weeks that like right before the pod, as in like within the 24 hours before the pod, the Celtics did some great league breaking news. So the first one was waiving JD Davison 2 weeks ago, and then yesterday, not only trading Georges Niang for cap reasons, they also were able to trade for the best assets from the 2025 draft class. That so much to the extent that we had to give up 2 draft picks to trade for St. John's legend RJ Lewis, which I was ecstatic about. Yeah, I'm telling you, literally, like I was like in my room, just like doing preparing stuff for today, and then I just heard dad from the family room. He just I think he needed me just to pick up my clothes, and then and then he's like, hey, then like right before he's about to say anything, I'm like, Dad, we just got RJ Lewis, and then he's like, oh, St. John's. I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, pick up your crap. I'm like, okay. So yeah, he wasn't as excited as us, but like once the news settled, he seemed pretty excited. But you were actually working during then, which we were still texting. But yeah, tell me what your thoughts on the situation are.
Yeah, so obviously, our father went to St. John's in the 80s into the 90s. So we grew up St. John's fans, but they were always pretty bad. I mean, they had 2018. I think they made the first four in, and they lost in the playing game, and then 2011 they also. So this was like the first St. John's team that was actually legit of like a legit contender that we rooted for. Um, and that was a huge thanks to RJ Lewis. He was their best player all year. He was the Big East player of the year for a reason. Big East tournament MVP. Um, and I really wanted the Celtics to draft him just because I loved rooting for him. He's humble guy. He's a tall wing. He's 6'7". He could guard really 1 through 4. He didn't really guard a lot of fives this year, but they were switching a lot, St. John's, and he was moving his feet on the perimeter. Very very athletic. He got leg surgery 2 years ago, and now he was athletic before that, but now he's back to normal. He can jump through the gym. His 3-point percentage is a little shaky, but everyone on St. John's couldn't shoot last year, so I'm sure when he's playing with better shooters, his numbers will improve as well. I think he was 34% on like 4 attempts or from what I saw. Um, However, although I'm very happy we have RJ Lewis, and I know a lot of Celtics fans are happy that George Niang is off the team. The Porzingis trade really looks crappy now. If we traded Porzingis, or if the Celtics traded Porzingis, even though they weren't going to do that, if they traded him after the finals, his trade value would have been way, way higher, even though he only played, what, 9 games in the playoffs the year before? Um, or was it 5 games in
It
2024?
wasn't, yeah, it wasn't 9. Yeah, it was, he played, he played like 3 in the finals, but it was really 2.5.
Yeah.
And then he played games 1, 2. Did he get injured in game 3 or game 4 of the Heat series? It was, yeah. So it was 8 at the most, I guess, if you want to, or it's like 7.5 probably. Like it's like 6, 7.5 probably. If you want to really get into it, but yeah.
Yeah, and then he tanked any value this postseason. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis obviously is in Celtics history forever, but kind of left a sour taste in our mouth with how it ended. And he was sick, like he wanted to be out there, but I feel like even if he just sat out instead of trying to play, his trade value would have been way higher. Um, so I think the trade for trading Drew Holiday and Porzingis it ended up being RJ Lewis and Simons, and then they traded what technically.
So, so like they got a second round pick in return for the Porzingis trade, if I'm not mistaken.
And then they
So,
had to give
but
up
then
two.
two. So yeah, so they technically traded Porzingis, Drew, and a second round pick for for Holiday. Oh no, for Simons and Lewis. It sounds
Yeah,
like. Um,
yeah. So
so
not the return that we expected, definitely, but
it's tough just because, yeah, it's tough
they
just
weren't
because, like,
trading. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. They
no,
weren't
you're good. Yeah,
trading. They weren't trading Drew and Porzingis to try to become a better team. So they were trading them to get under the bitch of the second apron and to save a lot of money with tax. It's a necessary was it not necessary evil, but they had to do it. So
yeah,
it's obviously tough news. I'm excited to get RJ Lewis, a guy I can root for, and I'm excited to watch Simons on offense this year. He's been on my fantasy team the last 3 years. So um, you know, it's tough, but there is some silver lining to it.
absolutely. It's just interesting just because, yeah, like I fully stand by that. I think that Brad Stevens is either the first or the second best GM in the league, based on the fact that he inherited a 7th seeded team. Granted, they were better than a 7th seed. They just ran into a couple of injuries, but like they were in cap hell. They got out of the cap hell and then were able to make the finals the year after, and then make the conference finals, and then and then obviously second round loss, but they still did win 61 games this year. So Brad Stevens is not a good. He's an elite GM, and part of us like I still am like in the mindset of like, okay, this is a rebuilding year, but I'm happy that we have Brad Stevens under that. So I knew that we were going to trade KP and Drew. But the issue is like, okay, we're gonna get good return and get under the second apron. Thing is, based on what it looks like they're not only trying to get under the second apron, they're trying to there's like a world where they try to get under the tax. Like if they try to trade Simons at the trade deadline, for like scraps, which I don't know which contender is going to want to trade him unless they do it for like free agency purpose, but like, um, but like it is tough to manage money while also being a good team because like I don't like like obviously Jalen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Joe Mazzulla. Like those are the four names they keep saying. Like those four guys are extremely competitive. So like they're not going to tank. So Brad Stevens is doing the best he can just like minimize the roster. Again, this is only speculating. Like obviously Brad Stevens probably isn't going to meetings saying like, oh, we're gonna be a worse team, but like I think he's a great basketball mind. So I think he's saying, okay, so this is gonna be our gap year. We're gonna play Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, and name is Kata boatload of minutes in certain nights, not all nights, but certain nights, just to see what we have. And if and worst case scenario for them, if they're very bad, then we're going to get a good draft pick. But best case scenario, we're solid. We have solid pieces to build around Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown when they come back. But this is more big picture Celtics stuff. But yeah, I do want to talk about one more thing with the Celtics after this. But yeah, but I'm interested to see what exactly their approach is going to be with Jalen Brown, because I feel like that's one of the more untalked about stories this offseason is that Jalen Brown did get surgery on his what was it, a torn meniscus, so which is usually a relatively long-term injury. So obviously Jalen Brown is someone that's willingly fought through injuries before. I don't know. I'm sure he's going to have that similar mindset this year, but I don't know if the organization is going to give him that same leeway as they were in the past when they were contenders.
Yeah, so I believe it was like knee. I forget the medical term for it, but apparently, the surgery went well. A lot of times in the NBA, you never really hear of off-season surgery going wrong, but
Right.
apparently people come back from it pretty like not easily, but come back from it pretty strong, and it doesn't seem to have any long-term effects. So I hope that obviously for the sake of the Celtics and just for the sake of Jalen Brown, that he's back healthy, and but I do agree that he'll probably there'd probably be more rest nights than usual if they were a contending team. So I wonder how they'll go after that, because, like you said, there are a lot of competitive guys in that locker room.
Absolutely. But also, one other thing not mentioned is that trade was not only made to get under the second apron, it was also made to, because I believe they were already under the because with the Davison cuts, they already got under the second apron, but like with trading Niang away, that got them under the second apron more. So then they were able to sign Chris Boucher, however the hell you say his name, for the league minimum, and like still be comfortably under the second apron, but and only a little bit over the first apron. So I don't know much about. I haven't watched much film on Boucher. Honestly, I didn't really take a too deep a dive into his stats. Like he has been. If he was like relatively beloved in Toronto. Obviously, they kept him around for a long time. He was the last member to leave from the 2019 championship team. Obviously, he wasn't that much of a contributor on that team, but he was still he's still just a member of that team, and obviously like a champion. So like that's always good. But he's likely going to be either the starting power forward. It's going to be either him or Sam Hauser, and probably be one of the, as I think Brad Stevens said it, one of the centers on ropes. What is it? Centers, not by rotation, center by committee. So that's going to be very interesting to say the least, because I'm not sure. I don't know how much I love his ability. Like Mets. I know the Mets sent the funny tweet in the group chat. It was like all the analytics nerds love the backup centers because all of them are very efficient, and like their per 36 minute stats come up, like they average like a boatload of rebounds and blocks usually. So I'm sure like on a per minute basis he'll put up pretty good stats, but who knows how much that's going to cross over to being a solid rotation player. So yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are, Matt.
Yeah, so the tweet you're talking about, it was analytic nerds on when it comes to talk about or who analytic nerds think backup centers are on lottery teams, and it's just LeBron James Miami Heat highlights. His per 36 numbers are ridiculous. He averaged, I think, 22 and 9 or 21 and 9 per 36. But I do think the Celtics got a good basketball player in Chris Boucher or Brochet. I think it's Brochet. As a Raptor, he was. Yeah, he was in his Raptors tenure, he was first in bench points, first in bench rebounds, first in bench blocks, stocks, 3-pointers made, free throws, first in wins, and first in double doubles. So obviously, he was a bench player his entire time there, so it's more of a longevity stat, but it shows he can give you good minutes. Last year, he averaged I think like 11 points. He got a couple votes for sixth man of the year a couple years ago. And let me check. His 3-point percentage last year was 36%. So 36% on 4 attempts. So he's capable of making them. Shot about 50% from the field. So a pretty solid offense player. I don't know how he is on defense. I'm assuming not great, but like I said, I wonder what we got out of him. The Celtics power forward depth really, really scares me. Because after Brochere, I don't really know who we got.
Sam Hauser.
Hauser.
Sam Hauser. Yeah. I guess
Like,
Xavier
does
Tillman probably.
Tillman get minutes? Like, you know, they got RJ Lewis. I don't think he's going to play the 4 really. I think he's more of a 2 and a 3. Jordan Walsh might play the 4. Shireman maybe. But yeah, I mean they're in a very important position. The Celtics do not have a lot of rotational guys.
If I'm being
that
honest,
could play.
obviously, like I feel like we're gonna have a lot of more negative moments on the podcast with Celtics than we have in the past. But just don't believe in Jordan Walsh and Barrel Sharman at all. Like the fact that neither of them were able to dominate on like multiple nights at the summer league, that's a real bummer to me, in my opinion. So I feel like when an established vet, like I feel like the summer league needs to be a moment where you send a message, and I just didn't see that from them. But who knows? Yeah, like crazy things have happened. I felt bad.
The summer league is tough to judge because, you know, like Eisenberg said, like when a player plays well, it's like, holy crap, they're playing so well. But then when they play poorly, it's like, oh, it's just a summer league. Who cares, you know? So
tough to evaluate for sure. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to say one more thing. Like you said about the Celtics, we're gonna say more negative things about them, and that's because we've been really spoiled the last couple of years.
Yes, we have.
This is like the first year since pre Tatum that they weren't, you know, a top 2 team to come out of or top 2 and contending for the East. Besides obviously the 2021 year where they ran into a couple injuries, but I don't think it's us being negative. I think it's us, you know, appreciating how good the roster has been, especially the last couple of years, and noticing that, you know, it's definitely a significant drop off from previous years.
Yeah. Awesome. To go back to what I said before about like good podcast but not being able to pronounce his name. But then I remember that the most famous radio host of all time, Chris Mad Dog Russo, has been pronouncing players' names wrong for his entire career. He has some wild ones. Like he did pronounce Patrick Mahomes' name wrong one time. Not even pronounce. He just says their name wrong. It's absolutely outrageous, the stuff that he says sometimes. I can't even remember some of the names he said because they're just so ridiculous. I guess I should try to be Mad Dog Russo based on basketball analysis, but maybe on getting viewership, I should listen to but cool. All right. John will be joining us shortly. He's not. I don't think he's home yet, but he should be home in a couple minutes. But
Chris, one more thing: Celtics regular season win total on FanDuel right now for the 2025.
I forgot to bring that up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
2025-2026 season. Do you know what the line is?
I think I saw it earlier. Was I could be wrong. Was it 27.5?
No, way higher. 42.5.
42.5. Oh.
I am taking the under there. I do not think that they are a 500 team this year. Maybe I hope I'm wrong. I hope they surprise me, but I think 42 or 43 and whatever that is, what is it? 82 games in a season.
41.
So yeah. I think that gets you into the playoffs if you win 43 games, especially in the East. I don't know if the Celtics make the playoffs this year.
Which I don't know either, but it's just because I think they're banking on a couple of things. I think they're banking on the East being weak because obviously, I think we've done it before, but the Cavs, the Magic, the Knicks, I guess those are like the 3 teams that could make the finals. And then I know that Zach Lowe said I guess after that would probably be the Hawks, maybe the Sixers if they're fully healthy, which there's more, which apparently Embiid isn't going to make it to training camp, so that's already. If you're already hearing stories about Embiid not being bad, then I feel like that's as much of a lost season as you can call it. But I don't know about that. But and then I guess you can always see the Bucks given a puncher's chance to win a playoff series because they have Giannis. But but I don't think there's a world where they could beat any of the top 3 teams as we mentioned.
You say the Pistons?
Oh no, I didn't say the Pistons actually. No. So all those teams are pretty easily above the Celtics, but like I don't know, like yeah, all those teams could run into an injury as well. So who knows? But yeah, before we get to go to our next segment, joining us, older brother John Driscoll.
Guys, thanks for
What are you
having
doing?
me. Apologize for being late.
No worries.
I was at the mercy of NJ Transit today, who told me I'd be getting in at 7:42, and I got in well after 8 o'clock. So, but it's good to be home.
Yeah, check.
They're
Yeah,
so incompetent. They're so incompetent, NJ
it's
Transit.
our New Jersey government network. You can always count on them to be very efficient and everything. That's enough politics for today, though. Yeah, John, sorry you missed the party. I don't see you missed the party, but yeah, you did miss the party. A little bit of us celebrating RJ Lewis. So yeah, if you want to give your thoughts on that real quick, you can do that.
Oh.
Take all the time on actually. Yeah.
What a tremendous day that was. You know, so many great things. We spent so much of last winter rooting for RJ Lewis. He was so fun to watch. He was great offensively and defensively. Really felt like he came a long way under Rick Pitino. I'm hoping it's similar to Joe Mazzulla. I'm not sure how much he's really going to play, but then again, like the roster looks pretty thin. So I'm not really sure he's going to be in Maine too much. He's got pretty good size. I'm not sure how good of a defender he'll be. You know, you see a lot of these like good defenders in college sometimes struggle to translate on the defensive end, but I think if you can buy in defensively, Joe's going to give him some minutes.
He was pretty. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
He was pretty versatile on defense. I was saying it earlier. Like he was really guarding like 1 through 4. Like he was switching a lot. So I think he'll be
7. You know,
yeah, he's 67.
He's probably got to put a little weight on. But that's like you could say that about most college players. I'm really excited for it, and now I don't have to pretend to like Georges Niang. So it's a win-win all across the board. Actually, the only negative is that the Celtics front court now is just disgustingly thin.
Yeah, it's really bad.
You know, and I like the Boucher edition.
All three of us don't know how to pronounce his name.
And before you hopped on, I apologize for not being able to do so. But then I remember that Chris, aka Mad Dog Russo, has been awful at pronouncing people's names for his entire life, and he's the most famous radio host of all time. So I don't think it's necessarily required for the job in order to be that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I will say Celtics have the power of friendship this year with RJ Lewis and Aaron Scott's on a 10-day deal.
Sure do.
So they played last year under Rick Pitino. Then Peyton Pritchard and Chris Boucher played together at Oregon. So power of friendship. Maybe they'll be an extra couple of wins.
Sounds good. Yeah.
John, I don't know if you heard us talking about. Do you know what the Celtics win total is right now? Over under on FanDuel. Not a gambling podcast, but
41.
42.5. That's high.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, we do tend to forget. I mean, they lost so much. I mean, with not even talking about Tatum, losing Al and Cornette is going to be huge. You know, but I still think they do have, you know, a core, and the East is relatively weak. You know, Jaylen Brown and Derek White can probably get you like, you know, 35 wins, and then hopefully you get a couple of like Peyton Pritchard games, or you know, Anthony Simons has a big game here and there. So yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, I'm not really expecting too much. It's almost going to be like a stress-free NBA season, but I think we're going to be missing the stress a little bit this year.
Just a little bit, yeah. All right, cool. Up next, that we got to talk about today is our top 10 shooting guards. 2 weeks ago, Matt and I did our top 10 point guards, which is actually funny, John. Last year when we were still doing the 6 o'clock show and you were still working a ton, but you were only able to make it to like one episode where we did listen. I'm pretty sure it was actually the top 10 shooting guards, but is when we did the Sunday the one time because we went to the Mets game. And that was actually after, my memory. That was actually after the Team USA won the gold. So yeah, we're right around same time if I'm not mistaken. So and as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, the criteria that we used last year and we're using this year is basically just it's like a projective list. So like you're deciding who you're who you want your team for next year, and for the most part, it's based on ceiling raising rather than floor raising. So like guys you'd want to have you on your team if you were building a team to win a championship. That being said, there are some great guys that are having like 4th or 5th options, and they're like the perfect role players. It is kind of tough to justify putting them ahead of guys that are really solid second, third options. So it really does come to a matter of personal preference for a lot of these. But especially when it comes to the shooting guard position, because there are a lot of up for debate shooting guard, floor raising, ceiling raising guards for shooting guards. So, Matt, I know you mentioned something about us doing like one number at a time, which I think would be pretty cool. We all do 10, we all do 9. But however, I also know, John, did you have your full list ready? It's okay if you don't.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. Okay, cool. So, and we'll do honorable mentions at the end. It's just, so we could start off by going 10 all the way up to 1. So, Matt, why don't you start off by giving us your 10th best shooting guard in the league?
My 10th best shooting guard actually recently just is on a new team now. He's on the Miami Heat. He played with the Clippers last year. It's Norman Powell. He had a very, very great year. He averaged over 21 points, 21.8 points. Let me see. Sorry, pulling up. Shot 42% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. And, he made that comment about addition by subtracting when Paul George left and everyone kind of made fun of him. Then he came out and had a great year. So I'm a big Norman Powell guy. And he's number 10 on my list.
Yep. John?
I don't have these numbered, so you're going to have to bear with me here.
Okay. I'll just give mine for now. But because so Norm Powell's a great pick, by the way, because I have him right around there. But at number 10, I have Austin Reeves. We talked a little bit about him earlier. But Austin Reeves, like a lot of people were saying that he was like the best third option in the league, or at least the best offensive third option, which I think that's a little more of a valid claim. But that being said, I'm not sure if I put him that high. But obviously, I'm interested to see a full season of him and Luka playing together, because I've been an avid critic of the pairing up of the duo of Luka and Austin Reeves and how horrific that backcourt's going to be. But obviously, the offense could very well make up for it, but we'll see.
Yeah, for me, I actually have Mikal Bridges as my number 10. I think it was, I had, not to spoil anything, but I have those 3 in my 8, 9, 10. I think Bridges has just been a little too inconsistent for me. He did have a lot of great moments in the playoffs, especially against the Celtics. And I do think he is a much better defender than Austin Reeves, obviously. But I just think that it's been inconsistent. And I think, a lot of people go off that, stint in Brooklyn for the second half of that 2022 season. 3 maybe?
23. Yeah, it was the Chris Paul trade. So, not the Chris Paul, the KD trade. Yeah, 23.
I just think it's very limited, and it's very like all or nothing in a way for him. You saw it again in the Celtics series. I think he scored like 13 straight, but there were moments where he didn't even feel like he was on the court. That's why I have him at number 10.
Cool. All right. So Matt has Powell, I have Reeves, and John has Bridges. So Matt, who you got at 9?
At 9, I have Austin Reeves. You mentioned it. I was debating on putting Reeves at 10 and Powell at 9, but then I was like, maybe I'm just being too biased against the Lakers. But looking at Powell's numbers, they're super impressive. But I put Reeves at 9, average over 20 points a game while playing with LeBron and Luka. So, he's a great scorer. He's not the best third option in the league. He's one of them. However, his defense, is very, very bad, to say the least. But one of the best offensive third options in the league. And I think he's going to have a big year this year.
So so Matt and I flipped 9 and 10. At number 9, I have Norm Powell. As you mentioned, I was a big fan of how he played last year with the Clippers. He will be playing in Miami this year, though, so that'll be a very interesting change. I don't know what the Miami. I don't know where Miami's going, because obviously, you're looks like they're committed to Tyler Hero at this point. So they're centered around Hero and Bam. Obviously, I'm 100% for them seeing Bam as like one of their 2 guys for the future. I don't know if I agree with Hero, but. Regardless of what happens, I'm interested to see how much Norm Powell raises their floor, because everyone knows their ceiling is pretty low.
Yeah, I put Reeves here. I think that Reeves does consistently become a little overrated. It's the LA Lakers bias. But I think if it sounds weird, but in like because I kind of have this like when you're looking at like your top 10 list, it's almost in like certain tiers. I think it can really be split up into like 3 tiers where guys can kind of be flip flopped in a way until you get to like, like 1 and 2, I think are like pretty, like, I think 1 and 2, not to say any names or before we get there, but I think we'll probably all be in agreement on who is 1 and 2. But it can be flipped. I think Reeves in this tier of Bridges and Powell, or for me, at least, I think he's probably the best. Like, I don't know if playmaker is the right word, but he's definitely the best with like the ball in his hand. I think he's the one guy here where you can have him lead your second unit in a way. He can be like that, primary ball handler. But obviously, it comes with some liabilities, some setbacks, or things that'll hold you back as a team, and that's defense. He's a poor defender. He's not even like a serviceable defender. But that being said, like, how much do you really need? Like, I don't think shooting guard is essentially like, you don't need your shooting guard to be like this, defensive specialist. You just kind of need to be serviceable. Unfortunately, he's not that. But I think if we're talking about like, if we're ranking like centers or even like 3s and 4s, I probably put more value on defense there than I do at a 2 guard.
Fair enough. The Lakers are going to need Reeves to be a little more than the worst in the league because he's paired up with Luka and their starting center is DeAndre Ayton. But we'll see how much Marcus Smart has to raise their ceiling there. Number 8, Matt, who you got?
Number 8, John mentioned him. I have Mikal Bridges. I'm a sucker for a grade 2A player that's available, so that's why I have him over Powell and Reeves. Really, in my opinion, I think my 7 to 10 you can really maybe not 7 to 10. I think these 3 that we mentioned, 8 to 10 for me, you can really flip flop, put in any order. But Mikal Bridges hasn't missed a game in his NBA career. Hasn't missed a game since he sprained his ankle junior year of high school. So. Obviously, there are question marks about his offensive ceiling. Like John said, there are games where he's just kind of a nobody on offense, but he's always going to give you effort on defense. He had some great moments in the playoffs, like you said. He was great down the stretch, especially in the series against Boston. So I have Mikal Bridges. I think he's going to have a very good year this year.
Exactly where I got him. Yeah, I got him at number 8 as well. I'm sure part of that also has to do with the fact that, just so it helps me sleep at night. The fact that the Celtics, let the 8th best shooting guard in the league, cook us rather than the 10th best shooting guard in the league. Maybe that notched him up a couple spots because it's weird. Like some people, whenever you rank someone lower, and they say like, oh, it's because this team beat you. No, if anything, I remember when I said. After Steph won in 2022, I like Steph a little bit lower than most people. They're like, oh, it's because you beat the Celtics. No, if I wanted to justify me in Celtics, I put them higher. Like it just makes no sense. Yeah, sorry for bringing up two sad things in one rant, but yeah, I just felt the need to get that off my chest. It's
kind of like Amen Thompson. I didn't watch a ton of him this year. I watched a couple Rockets games, but He had like 31 against the Celtics that one night. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm like, dude, Amen Thompson is so good. It's just because the games you watch him, like if he plays well against your favorite team, obviously
that's why. That's why.
Chris Freeze.
Yeah, it looks like he froze. Just to wrap up my number 8, it's Norman Powell. We mentioned him a few times. I don't think he's as good of a defender as Bridges.
No, I don't think so, at least.
But I do think it's relatively close, and I would probably take. I don't know. It's so tough, but he's definitely the best 3-point shooter out of these 3 that we've discussed so far. I think he's such a great guard defender, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays in Miami. I think. You can either, when you go to Miami, you don't stay the same. You either like raise your ceiling or it's like drastically tanked because they play like a certain way. I agree with what Chris said earlier. I'm not really sure how I would feel as a Miami Heat fan as like building my core around Tyler Hero. I think he's a good player. He's a very good offensive player, but like obvious limitations on defense. I think it's easier to like sell that you're like building your team around Bam.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris, I was just saying that I have Powell at my number 8. I just think he's probably the most well-rounded here. I would say definitely the best 3-point shooter, and not as good of a defender as Bridges. I would say not as versatile of a defender as Bridges. I think he's probably like a better guard defender than Bridges would technically be considered. Because Bridges will match up against like 3s and 4s, which is a plus for him. Like it adds to his versatility. But Powell, I just see as somebody who kind of like torments like combo guards.
Yeah, and Bridges, I mean, every time they play the Celtics, Bridges matched up against Tatum. So I mean, that shows you like OG, I think, is the better defender on that team, but it shows you that like how much the Knicks trust Bridges to guard. I think he guards the best player a lot of the time, so it's always something to note.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Matt and I both had Bridges, and John had Powell at 8. So Matt, who you got at 7?
At number 7, this guy's one of the hardest to rank because his numbers are so good, but it's just like he's never played in a winning situation ever. It's Zach LaVine. He averaged 23 points last year. It was his first, he was hurt. The year before, he only played 25 games. Sorry, I said 23. He averaged 23. He shot 45% from 3 last year. He was an elite 3-point shooter on 7 attempts a game. He's always been an elite shooter, but not 45% from 3. His numbers are, just jump off the page, but he played on the Bulls and the Kings. And again, it was non-winning basketball, so that's why he's lower on this list. I do think he's a very good player, but he's literally never done anything in the playoffs. So that's why he's number 7 for me.
Yeah, I got LaVine a little bit higher, but like, yeah, like for all the points you gave, like I have no issue with the fact that that you put him a little bit lower. I'll explain why I put him higher. I'm gonna get there, but yeah, at number 7, I had Desmond Bane actually, which probably feels which honestly might feel a little bit low by the end of the year because like he's gonna be in a situation now that's like a little more stable. Even though the Grizzlies are debatably like a better team than the Thunder, I think that the Magic are not the Thunder, the Magic. I think the Magic are a little more, as I mentioned, like they have like a better system in place, and I think that's Bane is exactly what the Magic needs. So I think that him being plugged into a system like in which he can thrive in is going to be it might be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I have Bane at my 7 as well. I think he's almost a little underrated here, even as I list him at 7. I think it's going to be exciting. It's actually going to be pretty fun to watch him on the Magic, knowing that the Celtics aren't contenders this year. I can actually just appreciate different teams. And I think he's going to fit in really well with Paolo. And that's a team that shoots a lot of threes too, or is going to shoot a lot of threes now. I was going to say, having Bane now kind of spreads the floor a little bit. I think Paolo's going to shoot a lot more. And I think just having him there is going to take a little bit of offensive pressure off of Banchero.
Awesome. So Matt has LaVine at 7. John and I have Bane. Matt, who you got at 6?
I have Desmond Bane here. I mean, you guys made a lot of great points there. I love Desmond Bane, and I think he's going to be a great fit on the Magic. They finally got their shooter. That's a good NBA player instead of that bum KCP. KCP, you can come on the pod and debate me on that. But I would totally get if you have Zach LaVine over Desmond Bane. Obviously, Zach LaVine is more of a number 1, number 2 option on the Kings. So he is a more of a load to carry. But Desmond Bane, I think, is one of the more underrated players in the NBA. He shoots 41% from 3 for his career. He's a good defender, strong player, great scorer. So I love Desmond Bane. I have him at 6.
Awesome. I don't know if you guys are gonna be mad at me or if you think this is valid, but number 6, I have Derek White actually. Feels a little low. It feels a little low. Given that obviously he's a fantastic plug player. Obviously made the Olympics for a reason. That being said, we've seen him being at best the third option on some great teams. He was probably the third best player in 2023, and then last year he was probably like the 4th or 5th. Like, I guess you could say maybe 3rd for the regular season, then like 4th, and then like 4th for the playoffs because Drew probably was better in 2024. Last year took a bit of a step back, but like still was able to pick it up for some of the playoff games. So the thing is like the guys ahead of him, like I just like like yeah, obviously I mentioned that I have Zach LaVine higher. So like yeah, so like I think that Zach LaVine could be the second. I think there was where he could be the third best player on the team, but like the team would just look different, but maybe not as effective. But like I don't know. It's just that like it gets tough for me to justify putting also putting like guys who are like all-star talents lower than guys who are just phenomenal role players. That it's tough. It's one of those things that's a little bit tougher. But yeah, you guys can fight me on that when you reveal where you have them.
Yeah, I'll fight you on that when I get to my number 1 spot. No, for number 6, I have someone who's probably going to be mentioned within the next 2 picks for you guys. That's Amen Thompson. Really, I'm a huge fan of his game. I think he's really exciting to watch. Probably one of the more athletic players. Probably one of the most athletic players in the league. One of the top 2. He's in the top 3 of. I don't even want to rank defensive players on this list yet, but he's definitely in the top 3 of defensive shooting guards. And the reason why I have him at 6 is just because we haven't really seen enough of him. And I think his offensive game, while it shows a ton of promise, has probably the most limitations on this list. I just need to see a little bit more of growth. And that's not really a dig at him because, I think what he showed in his first season was very impressive. I just think 14 points a game isn't really somebody that I would put in like the top 3 here, but I think he probably has the highest. I think he has the highest ceiling on this list, and that's including Anthony Edwards. And I think, and that might be a hot take. I just think that I think Anthony Edwards' ceiling is like close to what he's at right now. I don't really think he can be someone. I don't think he's going to be someone who can average like 32 points a game. But I think Amen Thompson can probably shoot up to like mid-20s a game if he it's just like I'd say maybe ceiling isn't the right term here. It's probably more like he has the most growth potential, I would say. Because when you're comparing ceilings, I think Anthony Edwards will probably be the better player when their careers are done. But I think Amen Thompson can take a lot more. There's a lot more ways he can improve, and he's already an impressive player. So I have him at 6.
Awesome. So Matt, so Matt had Bane at 6. I had Derek White, and John had Amen Thompson. So Matt, who you got at 5?
I have Amen Thompson here. First team all defense last year, 5th in DPOY voting. John said one of the most athletic players in the league, one of the best guard defenders in the league. And John, I don't agree. Like, you corrected yourself kind of about the ceilings. I think Anthony Edwards' ceiling is higher, but Amen Thompson is going to grow the most.
Right.
I get what you're trying to say. Like, he's going to be.
Was the wrong phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the worst we're going to see Amen Thompson. So, it's kind of crazy to say. I do think at the end of the year he could have a better year than the guy that's 4th on my list because of team success and defense and yeah. We'll get there when I announce my 4th best shooting guard, but Amen Thompson is my number 5.
Not bad take at all. Yeah, I got Zach LaVine in my number 5 spot. So he's tough just because it's his style of play is questionable. He does get a little ball dominant at times, and he can be a little selfish in certain situations. That being said, I feel like outside of like the beginning of Lonzo's term, I feel like LaVine hasn't been put in the best situations. Which it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Like could LaVine be a better floor raiser? I'm sure, but I don't know I don't know how much there was he could have done. But at the end of the day, he's an elite shooter. He's extremely talented. He's defense is probably like about league average, I would say. But he's just extremely talented, and like I said, like I feel like if he was ever put in like a system with the Celtics, like their defense would instead of Derek White, like their defense would take a hit for sure, but their offensive fire, like they already had like an elite offense. I feel like that offense would only get better, like as long as LaVine would buy into it, which I feel like it's pretty hard not to buy into that situation. So I understand why you want to put him lower, but yeah, he just cracks my top 5.
Yeah, I have LaVine in my 5 spot too. I was looking at the stats since 2018, with the exception of 2023, 2024, where he only played 25 games, he got hurt. He's averaged over 23 points a game. I think it's hard to find shooting guards in the league that have done that on a consistent basis that aren't in the top 3 of my list. like we mentioned, I think he does have limitations on defense. He's not like I even think Devin Booker could be considered a better defender than him. And that's not really a dig at Levine either. I just think that's not his game. Like Chris said, he does get ball dominant, but I think it's like we say ball dominant, and I don't think it's ball dominant in a way that's like too detrimental to his team. Like I don't think it's like a Trae Young kind of thing where it almost impacts like losing. I think it's just part of his game, and I do think that if you fit him in like the right team or in the right system, he can be like an impact player on a championship team. Where I'm not sure that's like the case for other ball dominant guys.
Yeah, not back. Yeah, obviously, agreed with that. So, so John and I both have Levine at 5. Matt had Amin Thompson at 5. I'm assuming you both had the same number 4, but Matt, who you got at 4?
Yeah, before I say my number 4, I want to say Zach LaVine was the hardest person to rank on this list because of like what you said, John. He is like it's kind of like the Trae Young type, where he hasn't really been in a winning situation yet, so we don't know. My number 4 is Derek White. I can see Amin Thompson jumping him on this list if you have Thompson at 4 and White at 5 because of his projection for this year. I won't fight you on that. But Derek White has been one of the best perimeter defenders in the league for the last 3 years. He was the third guy off an all defensive team this year, even though he came in 10th in DPOY voting. Made all defensive teams in 2022, 23, and 2023 and 2024 seasons. One of the best role players in the league. I think he was the best third option in the league last year when Tatum and Brown were both healthy. Elite. He's one of the. He's grown the most on this list. His rookie year averaged 3 points and couldn't shoot the ball. Now he's an elite 3-point shooter. So Derek White, one of my favorite players in the league, a championship caliber player, and there's a reason why they won a championship with him on the roster. So Derek White's my 4.
Yeah, he's my 4 too. I think. Like it's like they don't win a championship without Derek White in 2024. Like I can say that with like the utmost confidence. I think even the Celtics players have said it. He does everything right. He's not going to. He's never going to ball hog. I feel like every shot he takes, we're not like even when he's cold. I feel like if Jaylen Brown's cold and he keeps like hoisting up threes, we get more angry. Derek White just feels like I have a little more trust in him. In a certain way, obviously as an offensive player, I have more trust in Jaylen Brown, but just in terms of doing everything the right way on the offensive side, he's grown so much. He is he's a very good 3-point shooter, and I think last year he kind of took a step up in put the ball on the floor and getting to the rim. And that's without even talking about his defensive, which I think, like you said, Matt, 10th in DPOY last year. He's one of the better guard defenders in the league. And I'm inclined to say that Thompson can probably, I think Thompson probably jumps Levine next year on my list, and he could probably, I would say that he could jump White, but I see a relatively big jump in White's counting stats next year with Tatum out.
Yep.
But it's going to be interesting to see like does he just kind of stay stagnant at those stats because defenses are throwing more at him? He's got to kind of turn into a maybe shoot off the dribble more kind of guy instead of a catch and shoot on Tatum's driving kicks. So defenses are going to throw a lot more at him, but he's going to get a lot more opportunities. But I think that we've seen over the course of his career and his Celtics career, especially, the more you throw at him, the more he kind of just takes and runs with it.
Yeah.
So I have him at my 4. I don't think he'll ever go above the 4, but I think next year, next year, we could be arguing that he's still, a top 4, if not 4, then like top 5 shooting guard in the league.
Obviously I'm not gonna. Obviously I disagree. Obviously, no, it's not that I disagreed. It's just that the way that he ended up being placed a little bit lower for me. Which, by the way, he's also another one that's invited on the pod now, and we will also be inviting ourselves on your podcast, Derek White, as well. It's a very good show so far. I only listened to episode 1. I don't know if you guys listened yet, but Noah Dozell talked about how great episode 2 was too. So I definitely got to tune into that.
What's it called? White Noise.
Yeah,
I got to listen.
Yeah, it's him and his college roommate. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, at number 4, yeah, like their guy remaining, I do have Amin Thompson, which yeah, I took a dig at Bill Simmons, and then my Wi-Fi bug. It wasn't even my Wi-Fi; it's my entire computer shut down. So I don't even know I don't know what the hell that was about. So I don't know how much I should talk about Amin Thompson, but yeah, John mentioned earlier that he's like one of the top 3 defensive shooting guards. I think he's pretty solidly one, honestly. Like like maybe if you want to put D White ahead of him, like it's completely fine by me. But yeah, like Thompson got some deep boy votes last year, and just completely anchoring that the Rockets defense. Obviously, Steven Adams had a lot to do with that as well. So I feel like I'm missing another. Oh, Dylan Brooks as well. But like, yeah, I feel like Thompson was very clearly the best defender on that team last year, and the Rockets did have an elite defense. So, yeah, Thompson, elite defender, and I feel like he's only gonna grow more. I wouldn't say he's quite the best athlete of all time, like he was getting like those 2 weeks in February. That was really bizarre, like those takes that I was seeing, but still has an incredibly high ceiling, and I think he's going to take that leap this year. So yeah, both of you have D White at 4. I have Thompson at 5. Matt, who you got at 3?
John, you mentioned that 1 and 2 are interchangeable. I think 1, 2, and 3. I think you could
in somewhere there, yeah.
I think 2 and 3 is more interchangeable than 1 and 2, in my opinion. I have Devin Booker here. I think Booker, if you want to consider him a point guard, that's cool with me too. Because he is probably going to play more of the 1 this year. But he played shooting guard for most of his career, so I have Booker at 3. Not a lot to say about him. He's been an elite offensive player for so long. You saw in the Olympics he bought in and played a kind of a more defensive pass first role, which is really cool. He's an elite playmaker. I think Devin Booker is kind of getting underrated. I think there was a time where he was overrated. Now he's kind of becoming underrated. He's still an elite player. I have him at number 3.
I was going to ask before we started this if we all had the same 3, and Chris, I'm interested to see who you have.
Yes, I would assume that we all Booker at 3. I'm assuming you do too, John, unless you don't.
I do have Booker at 3.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to get very mad at you if you well, that's not true. Actually, if you put someone else at 3, I might not have been too mad at you. But obviously, Devin Booker is we talk about plugging. I feel like Devin Booker is one of the most pluggable superstars in the league. Obviously, he is one of the better catch and shoot guys in the league. He can play make as well, and he's not. Yeah, I feel like in like 2022, 23, he was a plus defender. Now I feel like he's more neutral. So like he's not necessarily someone that you can like target 24/7. Like he's still going to be someone that holds his own. So yeah, Devin Booker is like unequivocally a top 15 player in my opinion. But maybe not unequivocally, but yeah, top 15 in my opinion.
I think it's weird because like. It's tough to separate sometimes because I think he's so talented, and he has made adjustments in his career. Like when he started, he's a pure scorer, and now you've seen him take multiple leaps as a playmaker and a facilitator. I think he's an underrated defender in a way. And that's not saying that he's a good defender by any means, but I do think that he's, he can hold his own. He's not somebody that he's not going to get like targeted defensively, so to speak. But he does come with certain limitations and this isn't just on him, because I know the Suns didn't really surround him with as much talent aside from who I'm mentioning now is Kevin Durant. He for being such a low seed for multiple years with the greatest scorer of all time objectively. It's weird, and that's some of that's on Durant, some of that's on Booker, some of that's on coaching, and a lot of it's on Bradley Beal.
Most of it's on the front office, and usually I'm not the guy that's gonna only blame coaching in front office. I feel like that's always a cop out, but there was nothing that KD and Beal could have done with that team. Obviously, the two of them play. Let's be honest, the two of them are kind of redundant in their play style, but still, if you have two redundant players, you can still build it around with a good defense and depth. And that's something they just didn't do. It was brutal.
But I think that if you add, say you take Booker off the Suns and you add who we have at 1 and 2, I think they're a significantly better team.
With the guy at 1, I would say, okay, let's get it over with. Do we both have Ant at 1 and Mitchell too?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell, I would say they would get better, but I wouldn't say so much better because I feel like just because I feel like their play styles are kind of similar. Like Mitchell's better, obviously, he's a better bucket getter and probably better shooter in some scenarios. So yeah, they would get better, but yeah, Anthony Edwards, I 100% agree. I think they get so much better, especially with Durant's and Edwards' rapport as well. Cool. So yeah, before we go on to the next segment, do you guys want to just go over your, like, I already wrote it down, so like I'm fine. But yeah, you guys want to go over your top 10?
I'll go. From 10 to 1, 10 is Norman Powell, 9 is Austin Reeves, 8 is Mikal Bridges, 7 is Zach LaVine, 6 is Desmond Bain, 5 is Amon Thompson, 4 is Derek White, 3 is Devin Booker, 2 is Donovan Mitchell, and 1 is Anthony Edwards.
Very good.
And from 10 to 1 for me, 10 is Bridges, 9 is Reeves, 8 is Powell, 7 is Bain, 6 is Thompson, 5 is LaVine, 4 is White, 3 is Booker, 2 is Mitch, and 1 is Anthony Edwards.
Awesome. And on my end, I got Austin Reeves at 10, Norm Powell at 9, Mikal Bridges at 8, Desmond Bain at 7, Derek White at 6, Zach LaVine at 5, Thompson at 4, Devin Booker at 3, Donovan Mitchell at 2, and Anthony Edwards at 1. I would say I feel bad, but I don't really feel bad because I feel like we talk about Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards enough on the show to where obviously the two of them are phenomenal. And I think and it's particularly Donovan Mitchell. I talk about Donovan Mitchell enough on the show. Let's go Mets, by the way. Never mind. Actually, we don't talk about the Mets. The Mets. It's been a rough week, but just some honorable mentions. I got Colin Sexton, Andrew Nembhard, Brandon Miller, and Stephon Castle. So again, Castle's more of a projection than a prediction because obviously he's definitely not a top half point guard, shooting guard as of yet, but I think he will be very, very soon.
No, I love Stephon Castle. I had him in my honorable mentions as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had
did I miss anyone?
Dyson Daniels was my number 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, he was your 11. Okay.
Shout out friend of the pod, Eisenberg, Australian brother there, the Great Barrier Thief, Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
And also Jalen Green.
Jalen Green. Okay. Yeah, not bad take at all. Also,
shout
Giddy,
out.
What was that?
Did you say Giddy?
I did not say Giddy. No. Oh yeah, he's got to be up there for sure. Yeah.
He's probably top 15. I don't put him at like 11 or 12, but
no, probably not. Yeah, but yeah. Also, shout out to the producer of the show, Sports Flu, and his son, Fluent Jr. I don't even know his name, but yeah, Fluent Jr. He was actually a big Dyson Daniels fan before he even popped this year. So yeah, he's definitely on the agenda for sure. You know, I was actually concerned that we weren't going to have enough time, or not that we were that we were gonna that we were gonna not have enough content, I should say, but we obviously took up enough time. John, having you on the show is definitely having the third person on the show because Matt and I only were able to do 43 minutes. That was brutal. I'm like, oh, come on, like we really sped through that too quickly. But see, yeah, like we have enough now. We're going over our regular hour, so I'm very happy about that. Cool. So up next, we have a very fun segment of the show. So 2 weeks ago, Matt and I did a defensive draft. Now we're going to do an offensive draft. So same as we did with the Celtics drafts and Celtics drafts, we're going to do just building a team based on solely how good you are on offense. And it's not necessarily drafting the best player to each position. You're drafting based on how good the players can mesh together. You don't even have to go by position. You could just, like, if it so happens that like you think that like 5 centers are going to play the best together, you're going to be wrong. But like if that's what you believe, then then draft those five centers based on if you think they're going to mesh really well together. This is going to be a good practice for us because, as I mentioned, and I've said it subtly before, but like I've already consulted with my producer. Episode 100 will be a big panel. We'll be doing an all-time draft for everyone, but like this is just for offense, and we're only doing 6 rather than 10.
It's going to be tough to focus on offense.
It is, and yeah, and I'm going to keep on reminding, but like but yeah, do you guys have anything to add on to that? Give me 1 second.
No, I mean, like you said, it's like how they mesh, and we're doing 6 players. But I mean, I'm probably going to lean like a 1 through 5. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of how I see the best way to like mesh things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
for sure. Give me 1 second, guys. And same business as usual. Spinning the wheel to see who gets the first overall pick, but I'm very interested to see what everyone's approach is going to be.
Pick.
Okay, so is it me or John? It's me. Okay, so I get the first pick. Okay.
Wouldn't mind the third pick either, actually.
I did not want the first pick.
Yeah, I didn't want the first pick.
Yeah. I wanted the third pick, honestly. So John is getting the second pick. Okay. And Matt is getting the third pick, obviously, with that. So, damn. Okay. So, yeah, and as per usual, it's gonna be a snake draft, and then yeah. So so it's a starting 5 and a 6th man. So
I don't want the third pick.
So since we're pairing up a bunch of all-time greats with each other, this is and like we did this with shooting guards, but like more specifically with drafting all-time greats, we're doing a ceiling. This is about ceiling raising, not floor raising. So I'm putting in the guy who I think is one of the best ceiling raising players of all time and most pluggable player to play with all-time greats. I'm going to draft Steph Curry, actually.
Whoa, nice, Chris. I don't hate that.
I almost feel like that made things harder for John, actually, if I'm being honest.
It did.
Yeah.
Phew. I'm gonna put Michael Jordan at my 2 here.
Nice.
The
That's
GOAT
nice.
score, of course. And okay, and I forgot to mention this.
That's the score of all time, like 10 minutes ago. But Michael Jordan.
That's okay. Yeah. This is based on this is based on peak. So like like injuries don't really matter at this point. Not that I feel like most of the guys that we're drafting don't really have many injury effects, except for maybe one guy that I'm sure is going to get drafted, but we'll see.
All right. I'm gonna take
the turnaround.
I'm going to take who I had number 1 on my offensive player board. That's LeBron James, just because of his versatility on offense. I mean, he's averaging almost 8 assists for his career. So LeBron. And then just because I think he's the easiest to build around at this position, I'm going to take Jokic at my center.
Okay. All right, so I have a great scorer at my 2 guard, and I'm going to pair him with Magic Johnson as my 1.
I probably should have taken Magic, but
I think you could have gone with either, honestly. Got to put Magic on my board. That's weird. Yeah, I'm happy that someone took that before I let him walk. But very happy this guy fell to me. I think that Steph Curry is the most, as far as it goes for point guards and shooters, he definitely draws the most doubles of all time. And I'm going to also be drafting the guy who draws the most doubles of all time. For big men, I will be taking Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice.
And yeah, this is where the turnaround gets really tough for you, John, because I feel like I'm also going to take the guy that you wanted here. Like I have shooting and I have elite size. Now I need both playmaking and shooting. So we'll be going with the guy who is. I think I personally have him as a top 5 passer all time. I also think there's a world he's a top 5 shooter all time, and I'm going to go with Larry Bird.
Damn, I thought he'd get back to me.
Oof, this is tough.
Yeah.
So I am going to pick who I previously mentioned as the best scorer of all time, and that's Kevin Durant.
That's good for definitely good spacing and scoring there. So absolutely necessity.
I do not like number 2. The second pick is awful.
No, it's not bad at all. You needed the all-time great playmaking. That's not bad pick at all.
All right.
You mean your number 2? Like you don't like the?
I don't like keeping second. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm like no, Magic was a great pick. Yeah.
I picked someone, and then my next 2 players on the list get picked.
Yes.
I have a very new era team, which I'm not an old guy hater, but here it might be a surprising pick. I'm gonna take Luka Doncic.
Ooh.
He's like 5th all time in points per game
in the playoffs, right? Or overall too.
Overall,
yes. Very.
I think if he played a liquid. Go ahead.
Playoffs he's like 1 or 2. Playoffs he's like 1 or 2 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, his numbers are truly unbelievable. If he played any defense, there's a world where he's the best player in the world. It's a
Yeah.
shame he's
Mhm.
literally the worst defender of all time. Um, hmm.
Oh, there's a clear pick for you.
For me,
Yeah,
really?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to see who you think it is, John. But go. Yeah.
I wish you didn't say that. I don't know who it is. So I took Luca. Sorry, give me 1 sec, guys.
You're good. Yep.
I don't know if I should take a 2 or a 4. I'm gonna take Dirk at my 4.
Is that what you're thinking, John?
It was not, but that's probably the second guy I picked too. Just based on your team, not anything else.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like there are more offensive shooting guards than there are offensive 4s. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna solidify my. Well, I have power forward center right now open, so I'm gonna take Kareem.
yeah, I have Kareem on my board, but I have Jokic. I guess I could have put Jokic wherever.
That
but
wasn't, but that's not who I would have picked.
Oh,
for you.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, obviously got my center. I got my 2 shooters. Okay. I think I might know who you're talking about, but even then, I don't know if I want to pick him. I do want a guy who is like who more than anything is great at slashing. Like actually, no, first actually, I want to go with the guy who is one of the best mid-range shooters of all time, especially at his position. I'm going to go with Kevin Garnett.
Nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
And then after that, I'm going to go with the guy who, so like obviously, yes, Steph and Bird are obviously great at shooting, but they're not necessarily like Steph's a great driver. Actually, I shouldn't say that, but like these aren't really great drivers. So I will be going with one of the best drivers of all time. That's Dwayne Wade.
Okay. For my, I guess I have 4 picks now, and I have my 4 position open.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley.
Nice.
You see the fact I said about him to you, John?
What was it again?
He has the same field goal percentage on 2-pointers as Shaquille O'Neal for his career.
Really?
6'4", 6'5".
It's insane.
Yeah.
All right, man. You got your last two picks now.
So here's the thing about these picks. I'm not saying that they're, because I was talking about this with Dean and Ryan, friends of the pod. Like if I was to take like I'm not like the best offensive players, like I would have taken Kareem earlier, but he doesn't fit my team. So it's about like
Yes, of course.
continuity.
Yeah.
And like pluggability, Chris, like you said earlier.
Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I have my 2 guard open. Thing is, all these guys like are such good offensive players, but they all have the ball in their hands always. That's the issue. Like Luka can't really play the 2. Because I want to take a guy as my 6-man. You know what? Screw it. I'm going James Harden at my 2. I don't care about heliocentric offense. He averaged 36 points. All right.
He's averaging 40.
See, the thing is, like, here, like, I have a couple guys that, like, average 30, but their usage rate is so high. Like, I'm just going to take one of the best shooters of all time, catch-and-shoot guy, doesn't need the ball in his hand. I'm taking Klay Thompson.
I was thinking about taking him.
I guess 6-man, I should have just went with a guy that scored 45 points a game, but...
You technically could start Klay and then bring Harden off the bench if you want to, doesn't it? Yeah,
Sure.
I'm between three guys here.
Okay.
Two very similar, one not so similar. By
the way, did the guy get drafted that you said I should have drafted?
I don't think so.
No, but I'm about to draft Kobe Bryant.
Damn it! I wasn't gonna take him, but I wish that he went undrafted. That would have been hilarious. Actually, no, it does make it funny.
He wasn't on my big board. Get out of here.
It would have been funnier. No, it is funnier actually, John, that you drafted him because people are going to see this draft board and say like, why the hell did Kobe fall to 14? That's going to be the funnier part. It's not going to be the fact that they went undrafted. I feel like it would have been an oversight if we saw him undrafted. But like, it's more so funny that
he's objectively one of the best scorers of all time.
Well, like I honestly could have taken him over D Wade, but like I don't. But like I don't know if he like I feel like D Wade better fits my team in my opinion, but I could be wrong though.
The worst teammate of all time. So I don't want that in my locker room.
Don't disagree. Yeah. Yeah, John has some real hotheads in his locker room.
A lot of champions.
So yeah, with my last pick, so like yeah, I do have obviously some like great team players and like being able to move up the ball, but I don't have a floor general. I'm gonna go with the guy who's been in the he hasn't even been in the news. He's just been around social media a lot. And I feel like it's a classic case. I'm going with Chris Paul, by the way. I feel like it's a classic case of I'm like, oh, everyone's disrespecting Chris Paul, and I feel like I've seen like 10 times more tweets of people talking about how much Chris Paul is disrespected than I've actually seen tweets of Chris Paul being disrespected. Like I know part of it has to do with the fact that like some trolls are saying that Kyrie's better than him, but I don't know. Like yeah, like yes, Chris Paul can be underrated in some ways, but I haven't seen that this week, honestly.
Yeah, it's like when a comment section on like TikTok or Twitter is like, "All these hate comments are crazy," and then you're scrolling to find the hate comments, you can't even find them.
Yeah. This comment section is insane. No, seems pretty level-headed to me, honestly. I don't know. All right, so we got to start doing these drafts with like 4 or 5 guys because these 3-man drafts like get a little tough because like I clearly had an advantage at one. I feel like maybe that like a little subtle brag saying that my team was better. I don't know, but so
should have drafted Klay Thompson. That was stupid.
No, that was a great pick, honestly. LeBron's your worst shooter. That's great. My worst shooter is probably Wade. Wade then Garnett. Okay, well, no, Jack. Actually, never mind. But I think just to finish off the show, we'll give our little elevator pitches as to why whether you think you're the best team or not. Just try to do your best. Both of you are much better at that than I am. So I'm kind of happy with my team, but like with the way my team went, so I can do convincing. But yeah, you guys can try your best to come up with that. So so my team, as I mentioned, like the most important thing is plugging and being able to play off the ball and like being able to just work off the ball and everything. So Shaquille O'Neal, not a great shooter, but like he's going to draw the doubles. Same thing with Steph Curry, and also the fact that we have debatably the 2 best passers at their position in Larry Bird and Kevin Garnett. So in addition to that, we also have Dwayne Wade, who isn't like necessarily like an all-time great playmaker, but he's still great at drawing pressure from the drives and like great at like kicking out. That's why he played so great with LeBron. Also have the chemistry between Shaq and D-Wade. They won a championship together in 2006. And if there's ever a time where it gets too chaotic, we can just bring Chris Paul off the bench. He'll be the floor general to ease things out, and then just make the right play when needed. So overall, very happy with my team. Whoever wants to go can go next.
John, you go ahead.
Yeah, I have Magic Johnson at my point guard. He's the best facilitating point guard of all time. Pairing him with the best, scoring guard of all time in Michael Jordan. And then off that, I think I have Kevin Durant, which is probably the best forward scoring guard, best scoring forward of all time. Mm-hmm. And I think with Magic facilitating, that's not too many shots. Kevin Durant has shown that he can not take a back seat, but he doesn't he played very well with other scorers like Steph Curry. Charles Barkley, I think, is one of the more underrated power forward offensive power forwards of all time. Kareem, you can make arguments that he's he's the best scoring big man of all time. And Kobe, I think it's For my bench spot, I kind of just went for the, I guess, the best available scorer. I think if he can kind of slide into that, Jordan or Durant slot if they were to come off if they were to sit out. So I feel pretty good about my team.
Yeah, I feel very good about my team as well. I think the best offensive, if we're just going purely based on position, I think the best offensive center of all time is Nikola Jokic. If we're not counting like Wilt, I don't count that playoff dropper, so I'm counting Jokic. I think the best offensive power forward of all time is Dirk Nowitzki. There are arguments for power forward is a very deep position. I do think it's Dirk though. I think the best offensive player in NBA history is LeBron James. Sorry to our father if he's listening. He's just so well rounded. And his game has adapted throughout his career. James Harden had one of the best single seasons in NBA history. He just ran into the Warriors, which is a shame, and his number 2 got hurt. He literally almost averaged 40 points. Say what you want about him, his play style and everything like that, but he averaged almost 40 points, and he's an elite playmaker as well. And Luka is, we hate on him a lot, but the reason we hate on him is because of his defense and because of the defense side of his ball. His offensive game is truly historic. He averages almost 30 points a game for his career. I think it's 28. He's second all time in playoff points per game. He's an elite playmaker. And the one issue you might say with the team is, it's who's going to take all the shots, because Luka, Harden, all pretty ball dominant, LeBron even in a way. So you can just take the best catch and shoot guy in the history of the game, Klay Thompson, off the bench and put him in for a Luka or Harden, and then Harden can play the 1, Luka can play the 1, even LeBron can play the 1. So, and our spacing is the best. Everyone can shoot on our team, or on my team. So I feel like we all have an argument for the best 5, because when there's 3 guys drafting, like, so many guys get left out.
Great stuff, gentlemen. Thank you, John, for making the settlements. Settlement. How do you say that? Like the actual data for it. And definitely be creating that into a graphic. It'll probably be posted sometime on Saturday or Sunday, depending, and then we'll see the poll and see what it says. I did send it to the NBA Max group chat. I'm hoping we're not going to get a response for the next 5 minutes, but cool. This was a lot of fun. As John mentioned, it is a little bit of the dog days of the NBA season, so the NBA offseason. So obviously, we're happy with the Celtics news that dropped yesterday, and we were able to talk about that a little bit today. The Wi-Fi keeps bugging out, but as per usual, thanks for coming on, guys. This has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms. All American Hooper on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out NBA Max on Sunday nights, and check out my column on PronTalkSportsTalk.com. This has been, and also be sure to follow @SportsFluence to catch us on every episode Thursdays at 8 p.m. This has been another episode of the All American News Podcast. Until then, keep grinding and stay open. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.